This is Dads and Dunks, your To The Point Wolves Talk podcast. I'm Tom.
And I'm Josh.
The regular season is over, the playoffs are here, and your Minnesota Timberwolves have a date with Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Today we're doing something a little different. Full playoff preview, the regular season in review, the Denver matchup broken down, predictions for every first round series, and our pick for how this thing ends. Josh, it's playoff time. Let's get into it. What's up first?
Thanks, Tom. I think first up, we talked about maybe looking back at the regular season and kind of our perspectives, how we feel about the team. For a few data points, the Wolves finished this season with 49 wins. We finished sixth in the West. And then I was also looking at kind of advanced stats for the season. We finished with the 13th offensive rating. We finished with the 8th defensive rating, with a 10th overall net rating. I think something you take with a grain of salt because we didn't play a lot of guys at the end, and particularly the offensive rating once Ant went out definitely tanked. But the other side of that too is every other team has injuries too. So like kind of we are where we are. But thinking about that, 10th net rating, 49 wins. How do you feel like the season went, Tom?
I was trying to think back to the beginning of the season and how I felt then compared to how I feel now. And it's tough to go all the way back to the beginning. I think there was a lot of momentum around this team, around the continuity of the team, and then it all just fell apart when Mike Conley just got super old, like way too quick, and our bench players that we thought were going to get run for us, our young guys didn't get any. What an up and down, wild season. And
Yeah.
I think a couple months ago, I would have been a little more down on where we were at in the regular season. But the IO and strangely enough, the Slo Mo acquisitions, Terrence Shannon Jr. coming on strong at the end of the season, all feels like there's a little bit of momentum. Ant and Jaden both being healthy, quote unquote healthy, going into the playoffs, healthy enough to play. I mean, all that feels good, but I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic heading in. The regular season was just so wild that it's hard to be like all in on this team making a run.
I feel like I have similar thoughts. 49 wins is a decent win total. In many years of the Wolves franchise history, we'd be like, oh my gosh, we won 49 wins. This is amazing. But I do feel like with this team, with this roster, particularly to your piece about continuity, we were told, hey, we're going to be better. We're coming back. This continuity is going to be the thing that like kind of propels us. And it didn't seem to be the case. I think there's a number of reasons for that. I think part of it is Ant only played 61 games this year. This is by far the most games he's ever missed in his career. Maybe some of the last few games were potentially just, sitting him out to get ready for the playoffs. But he missed a decent amount of games, way more than he's ever missed. Jaden only played 73. We've had some injuries kind of throughout the year. So although we have continuity, having your star player miss more games than ever missed is kind of a problem. To me, the biggest bummer of the season was, yes, we have continuity, but we still struggled to like put in effort sometimes. We still struggled to like care against some of the weaker teams. And I think, that came back to bite us because we're only a few games out of having home court in the playoffs. You finish with the 6th seed, which again, 49 wins sounds better than being the 6th seed. I don't know if like I just am not thinking about this correctly, but 49 wins. Like that sounds pretty good. 6th seed. That's not great. So interesting regular season. It was a bummer that Ant missed so many games. I just like watching him play. He's so enjoyable. He makes so many like spectacular plays. Some of the effort things, losing to some of the teams that I think we should just put away was also a bummer. And usually when the playoffs start, our team like flips the switch. So I'm excited to see if we can do that again.
Yeah, thinking about the regular season in review before we hop into necessarily moving into the playoffs section. The Julius storyline, also something to keep an eye on.
Mm.
Started off so hot, so excited for him to be a potential all-star. And then when we reverted back to baseline Julius and worse in some games, and when he wasn't putting it together, and then DDV was going 1 for 7, and Jaden would go 1 for 4 from three. Just those games, things just fell apart, and Ant had to try to carry the team to some wins, and he did. The
Mm-hmm.
consistency of those other role players is something that has felt a little bit better as of late. But that is
Mm.
something that throughout the season, where when we would do our game recaps and be like, why did we lose this? It's like, well, we shot 24% from three or something, and we didn't show up and have any effort, and we didn't rebound and didn't play defense. So I think everyone will step up as we move into the playoffs. But those are other things that I am a little bit nervous about. We'll get to things that I'm nervous about later in the pod. But I think that's one of the things looking back is just like the inconsistencies all around, whether it was effort or
Mm-hmm.
just being off when you're a team that is as highly ranked as they are on offense when you have and can shoot what, the sixth ranked team in 3-point shooting percentage when you shoot that many, and then all of a sudden you have a horrible 3-point shooting game, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, it's also interesting. We made a pretty big acquisition, I would say, at the deadline, getting Io, he's a bench player, but he plays 25, 30 minutes a game. He's definitely like in the rotation. He's probably one of the 7 guys that you trust the most. I think he's also helped push the pace along with your guy Bones, which has kind of been a cool wrinkle that we've seen, the last 20, 30 games. I think to your point, like Mike Conley falling off was a bigger factor than we thought because all of a sudden your bench is really short. If Nas wasn't having a big game off the bench, we really weren't getting much scoring punch the first 50, 60 games. So I'm excited about that. I mean, again, the Ant injuries, to have this team as close to full health. I mean, I don't know if these guys are all healthy, but they're going to play because it's the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see. So yeah, weird regular season, up and down. To me, bummer they didn't miss so much time. The IO acquisition is great. Even the Kyle Anderson acquisition, I think that's going to be impactful in this Denver series. So yeah, I'm really excited for the playoffs to start. It's like my favorite part of the sports calendar is NBA playoffs.
Mine too. It's so much fun. Every game means so much, and they play so hard, and Ant elevates his game so much. So that's actually, as we move into how we're feeling moving into the playoffs, that's one of the things that sticks out most to me is playoff Ant and how excited he's been. So good this year already, and think about,
I know.
is he like still going to be able to take that playoff Ant leap like he always has? And think about how much fun it's going to be to watch him when he's been so much fun to watch even just regular season Ant.
I echo everything you just said. I think about when we beat Denver in the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. Like Ant leveled up in that series and he played great, but like I feel like he's significantly better now, 2 years into his career, than he was those 2 years ago. And he leveled up then. He played great, but he's so much better now than he was then. Like to your point, what could he do in the playoffs? Uh, Jokic to me is the best player in the NBA. I think he's the MVP. I know he missed a bunch of games, but I think he's better than Shea. He scares me more than Shea. I don't know if Ant can match Jokic. Again, I think Jokic is the best player on planet Earth. But if Ant can level up and match him or even like outplay him a couple games this series, we got to win those games first of all. But I think that's what the playoffs is about. It's about the stars. It's about shining bright. And Ant has always done it. Even the All-Star game, which is an exhibition, but when Wemby kind of challenged him, like Ant was hitting those shots. He was the MVP. He just seems to rise to the occasion. It's one of my favorite things about him. Yes, he doesn't really care about the crap teams in February on a noon Sunday game, but playoffs against the Nuggets, yeah, man, he's locked in. So I'm really excited about that. A couple questions that we got from folks on Twitter. One was from Mikey Torberg. Mikey, I hope I'm saying your last name right. He said, "What's your confidence level in the Wolves flipping the switch in this first round against the Nuggets?"
Ant, yes. The rest of the team, not maybe as high. Maybe Julius has shown that he can step up in moments and play better defense too. He's a big, physical, athletic
Yeah.
guy. Ant can do it. If Julius can do it and the rest of the team can do it, yeah, they can take down the Nuggets. To me, that's the biggest thing I think I talked about is, can that effort and that switch be, can they get in Jamal Murray's head? Because
Mm,
Jamal Murray had in the past, we have been able to. Can Io get in there and be scrappy with him? Can Jaden, who's going to be guarding him, really get in his head? Can we throw
yeah.
Clark in there for a couple possessions just to be a pesky on-ball defender and transition here and there? That's the one there. I'm like, the rest of the team, the switch for them needs to be like complete effort, and also Nas and DDV not and Io hitting threes at the percentage that they can. Have they shown that they can? I the Nas. I just hope Nas can, because I think that's where That's also one of the biggest ones is Nas. I don't. How about you, Josh? I'm on the fence on whether the rest of them can, I guess.
So I would say yes. I think I'm very confident that we will flip the switch and play hard and do all the things that we need to do. The last couple years when we've had time to prepare for our first round opponent, I think Finch, the team, the coaching staff, they've all been very prepared and they've played really well in those first round series. So I feel pretty confident about that. And just a competitor. I would say even if we do flip the switch, this is a really strong Denver team. I mean, so like let's look at them. You said that we were sixth in the NBA in 3-point percentage. Denver's number one. And if you look at their roster, I mean, I don't know if I trust some of these percentages, but Jamal Murray shot 43.5% from 3-point line this year on 7.5 attempts. Cam Johnson, 43%, and he was really struggling part of the year, so he's really caught on fire. Peyton Watson, 41%. Tim Hardaway Jr., 40.7%. Something called Spencer Jones, 39.6. Aaron Gordon, who we just didn't guard on the perimeter a couple of years ago, shot 38.9% on 4.5 attempts a game. I mean, Jokic, 38%. The one guy in the rotation who I would let chuck is Christian Brown. He's shooting 30.1% from three. But also, they're the number one offense in the NBA, like by far. They are the 21st defense. So I think you've got to take advantage of that. But overall, their net rating is seventh. Again, we were 10th. So, I mean, they're a strong team. They've won 12 games in a row heading into the playoffs. I think there's also some momentum behind them. I think Jokic is the best player on planet Earth. So yeah, I think we can flip the switch and play really hard. And I think you could also say that Denver is maybe one of the like two or three best teams in the whole NBA. And it's a bummer that we got to play them in the first round. So yeah, I'm confident we flip the switch. I don't know if it's enough, but we've always done that in the playoffs.
Yeah, it would. I want them to win badly. I still think they can, but it's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
To your point, the flipping the switch, I think that they can. I think they will play really hard. I think they'll have a lot of momentum. They'll knock down shots. The place will be target center is going to be out of control. One of the keys, though, we talked about what do we feel good about. Some of the things I wrote down, Ant elevating is something that I feel really good about. I
Yeah.
do think that Anthony Edwards elevates in the playoffs, but also he's he's beaten Denver, and I think that extra level of confidence going into it, because when you have a confident Ant that's knocking down shots and getting to his
Game
spots,
over.
especially this year, it's hard to beat him.
Yeah.
And so I just there's just so much confidence in his ability to elevate, especially against Denver. And I know it's a different Denver team. I am concerned about the 3-point shooting and about our rotations, and that's one of the things when we talked. We wrote down what do we feel good about, what do we feel nervous about. The being able to defend them is something I'm nervous about, but their defense giving up that many points. If we are knocking down shots, if Ant's knocking down shots, if Jaden's knocking down shots, if they're getting out in transition, their pace is way faster this year. So getting out in transition with Io and letting Bones push the pace a little bit, maybe sprinkle in some pace with TJ here and there if Finch loves him. So maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I overall I'm worried, but also there's a part of me that just has so much confidence in Ant, and when this team's like firing on all cylinders, the Wolves are really hard to beat too.
I would echo your confidence in Ant. If he doesn't step up this playoff series, it would be the first time in his career that he hasn't stepped up in a playoff series. So I feel pretty good about that. I also think the fact that he was so good in clutch time this year, like that was to me like one of his biggest evolutions as a player was you couldn't stop him in the clutch because he developed that mid range so he can shoot the three, he can get to his mid range spots, and he's so athletic he can get downhill. I do feel like if that translates to the playoffs, again, I think you can match up with them in the final minutes, which is huge. You said the thing about Shannon getting some minutes. That was another question we got from Scott. He was wondering if Shannon or Conley will get any run these first couple games because they had a hot finish to the start to end the season. Do you think we see any Conley or Terrence Shannon Jr. first couple games, just like throw them out there for a stint and see what they give us?
Yeah, my friend Travis screenshotted TJ's numbers from those two games where he went off, and he's like, and Finch will not play him in the playoffs. And I was like, I don't know, he does. So it's it's a question. I think that of all the players, Finch has shown the most faith in him for some reason, even when he played really, really poorly. He
Beginning of
still,
the
and
season.
he talked about him very highly compared to any of the rest of the players. Um, so I just think Finch's post game comments, his comments to the media around TJ, show that if any player, young player, bench player, would get any, it would be him, and it would be this year if he needs to pull that switch. But I don't know, when you have Bones and Io, and you have other players that I think he trusts more who also push the
Mm-hmm.
pace and get
Mm-hmm.
downhill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I don't know that TJ gets much, but I feel like some. I don't know about you.
I think it'll be interesting because in the playoffs, generally you tighten your rotation and your players play more minutes because you want your best players to be playing as much of the game as possible. But at the same time, I mean, Ant's been hurt, Jaden's been hurt. I don't know how healthy they are. I hope they are. But like, can Ant play both ways at his level for 45 minutes? I don't know. Is he healthy? Is he gonna hold up? Jaden, same thing. Like, can he play 40 some minutes both ways, offense and defense, because we need him at his level? If not, do you throw in a Terrence Shannon Jr. for a stint to just be like, hey, it's going to be TJ, it's going to be Io, we're going to give Bones a couple minutes, and we're just going to try to run. We're going to try to just like get the ball, go, even off makes, and like kind of steal some time for your stars to recover a little bit. I would rather play Terrence Shannon Jr. than Jalen Clark, than Mike Conley. So I mean, maybe. Also, like, does Jaden get in foul trouble because he's probably going to be guarding Jamal Murray? And you're like, hey, this is maybe he can't play the defense that Jaden can play, but it's a similar like large wing who can get out and run, can get downhill. Um, I don't know. I could see them throwing him in there one of those games. Also, if he just gets torched or he messes something up, I could see him getting pulled for the whole playoff series. I could say the same thing about Bones. Bones is great on offense, but if he gets a bad matchup and somebody takes advantage of him, I could see him also getting pulled. I think if anything, Kyle Anderson's going to get more minutes this series. I know we talked about this a few weeks ago. I am just more and more confident that I think they want it to be Rudy or Kyle guarding Jokic. I mean, you could do Julius, but I think they're gonna want him to do so much offensively. I just don't know like what level of resistance he'll be able to provide. Um, but I think Kyle Anderson's gonna play more. I'm also thinking I'm kind of contradicting what I said last time. Okay, I'm like we got to have Rudy minutes match Jokic minutes because we need Rudy to guard Jokic. But what if you don't? Because Rudy's not super effective against Jokic, which nobody is. And what if you do Kyle more on Jokic and then you play Rudy when Jokic isn't playing, so you have like your best defensive player out there and he can maybe have the biggest impact on the game? I don't know. I mean, he could also get in foul trouble. Also, in general, he plays less minutes in the playoffs because people want to play faster and we play a different way. But I'm really curious, like how they do the Jokic matchups. Is it Rudy? Do we trust Kyle? Do they give it to Jokic? Or sorry, do they give it to Randall or Nas? Or do they do like the small thing like OKC does where they put Caruso? Like, do we put like Io on him in the post? And I don't know. I'm fascinated. I don't think it really matters. I actually pulled up some numbers. Where is it? Wanted to see Jokic's stats versus the Timberwolves and basically like versus Rudy. So I pulled the last 16 games, which is basically from 2024 to now, and it includes playoffs. Jokic is averaging 34 points, 10.9 rebounds, 8.9 assists, almost 2 steals and a block um, against us. And he's shooting 58%, 38% from three. I just think he's so good. I don't even know. I just don't even know if it matters. I mean, you can't let him get 60. Like, that's just demoralizing. But man,
The coaching the coaching is going to be really interesting to see what they decide. You brought up a handful of minutes ago that
I
Finch
talk
and the
too much.
staff. No, no, that was it was way before I talked, and then you talked, and then I talked again. But I'm just going back to a previous conversation around Finch and how he and the rest of the coaching staff do get the team prepared, and they seem to be really ready to go with the X's and O's. I, Adelman is also seems like he's a really good coach, and so the coaching duel is something that I have my eye on, that I'm curious about. If you I know you haven't necessarily been the biggest Finch defender of this podcast. How do you feel about the
Fair.
coaching matchup in all this? I think the playoffs do come down to not just the head coach but coaching staff, and I think Adelman has shown that he's a pretty damn good coach so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's also the son of Rick Adelman, who is an amazing, I think he's a Hall of Fame NBA coach. And he was on the staff under Mike Malone, so he's learned a ton. I think David Adelman's a good coach. I think Chris Finch is a good coach. I just don't necessarily know if he's like the greatest coach that we could potentially get. And it's like, I want to hit our ceiling. I think that we do a great job when we have us like a week to plan for the first round series. Finch has never not done a good job when we weren't in the plane and we had that, time off while the plane is being figured out when we knew our first round opponent. So I feel like he'll have a good game plan. If he doesn't, it would be the first time that he hasn't. I think it's more game to game in like the second and the third round when like you've got a day off. Like the playoffs condense so much because they want something on TV. In the first round, you've got what, 8 series? I don't know if that's the correct math. 8 series between the West. So like, you're playing a few games this day. Some teams have 2 nights off, whatever. That's where I struggle more with him. I think he's gonna have a good plan. I hope our team can execute. I think it's a pretty evenly matched series. Um, I really think we need Ant to be able to match Jokic's star power as much as we can. And I think we need this guy, Jaden McDaniels, to do his best job to be an impact player on both ways. And I think he's also elevated his game often in the playoffs. So I'm hopeful that that can continue. I've got a lot of faith in Jaden. I'm concerned that those guys might be a little hurt. And then I think we need the bigs to like hold up as best they can against Jokic. It's also interesting because they're not a great defensive team. I think Aaron Gordon is a really good defender. I think he's going to have to guard Julius Randle because I don't know who else would guard Julius Randle. Are you going to put Jokic on Randle? I don't think so. Peyton Watson is skinny. Um, Tim Hardaway Jr., Christian Brown, they're too small. So if Aaron Gordon is on Julius Randle, Ant's probably going to have a pretty good matchup. If it's Christian Brown, if it's Peyton Watson, like I feel pretty good about that. There's also really no rim protection on Denver. I mean, Ant's 3-point shot is maybe his best move, his best weapon. I know he's about the mid range, but I think he can probably get to the rim against this team and he could punish him that way. But if Aaron Gordon is not on Julius, I think Julius has a huge advantage as well. And so like, I mean, this is the playoffs. So like, can you take advantage of those matchups? Like, do you just spam pick and roll when it's rolling for you? Just like Denver does that all the time. Something's working. Okay, Jamal Murray, Jokic pick and roll like 6 times in a row down the floor because it's a really powerful weapon. It's really hard to stop, and they can do so many things off of it. So that's a really long way of saying I think it's a pretty evenly matched series when it comes to coaching. I'm really excited to see like how the players step up, and I mean, role players are huge in the playoffs too. Like Io's never really played in the playoffs. Like can he be impactful in the playoffs like he's in the regular season? He's gonna be a free agent this year. Like if you can show you're an impactful playoff player, that's how you get paid. DDV, like the stuff he was doing with New York before we traded him, like he was so hot from three, he looked amazing. Like can he have some of that with us? To your point, like can Nas step up? I'm really excited. The playoffs are great. I can't believe we have to wait till Saturday. Um, yeah, I think coaching is pretty even. What do you feel good about? What are the things that you're like, oh, we're gonna kill him on this? Oh, I want to see this because this is an advantage for us.
Yeah, I think we can, based on defensively, I think similar to what you said, I think we can get to the rim. I think Io can push the pace. I think Jaden has shown that he can get to the rim. I think that
Yeah,
you can get, if you get a one or two lobs to Rudy, I think that you can get a team really fired up because they get each other going. I think the energy of the team is one of the things I'm most excited about. I feel like maybe it's just because it's my team, but it feels like it's infectious when like someone gets a big dunk and the bench goes wild, and I just feel like they get on a roll with that momentum, and that can be a detriment when things aren't going well. So things that I'm nervous about with them falling apart, but things that I feel good about is if they can do that and they can and hit down a few shots and Io can play well and they can just get a big dunk from Jaden or
yeah.
something, just like get the bench going, get everybody excited, get the juice flowing. I think that they can. they can really take it to him and maybe steal a game as well. Ant's elevation feel really good about. Things that I'm nervous about, though, you mentioned it, Jokic.
So
He is
good.
also another. He's also just so cerebral. He's in, like, thinking about coaching, right? He just is a coach on the floor and in the locker room. He's just so smart, and I think that Ant has elevated his basketball IQ to a much higher level than it ever has been. But Jokic is beyond PhD. Like, he's like the most, it's like, what, like, not just a PhD, right? He's like the world renowned, like, PhD in his field of basketball in terms of his basketball IQ and how he plays out there. So I think that's the part that I'm a little more worried about. In addition, they're banged up. Our health is also the Ant.
Yeah.
Jaden health is also something I'm a little concerned about. But if we get hot, man, DDV goes 6 for 7 from three, and Nas is coming off and going, 3 for 4 in the first half from three or something. It's just like it can be that can snowball real quick with this team. So that's the part that feels like, I don't know, that I'm so excited about is I want to see that.
I would love. It's a good point. I mean, we're kind of banged up. Denver's also been banged up. Aaron Gordon's been fighting a hamstring thing all year. Man, Aaron, could you please pull your hamstring and just miss a few games? That would be awesome. I think if Aaron Gordon doesn't play, I think we win the series. But that's wishful
The
thinking. That's not a
Aaron
good
Aaron
strategy.
Gordon was also on my concern list, jumping from like 29 to 39% from three.
Yeah, what the heck, Aaron Gordon? Why did you learn to shoot threes?
Yeah, that hurts us.
Rude.
Especially when you talked about the pick and roll, and if you can't be helping with that, with those two running that, because they're knocking down so many threes, then you got to really stay home on defense. And then if you're not staying home on defense and they put you in a blender, we can't have that. We can't be getting put in the blender either. So they got to be solid and stay home and just play really good defense without helping a lot. And I think that's trouble when you have Jokic, and Murray's playing really well this year too.
He is.
Unfortunately,
I don't really like
I don't
him.
like him at all. No,
Yeah,
I don't like him at all. And he's gonna foul hunt too, which I don't like.
he is playing a lot better. I don't know if he just finally got healthy or what, but he looks like a different player this year. He looks really good.
I do think that he and Malone, the way that Malone came down on him, I think
Mm.
he's a fragile soul. I think that he got in his head
Fragile soul.
when he was getting yelled at, and I don't think he liked that. I think he, as you saw, he like threw stuff out on the floor.
If
Um,
you go to the Wolves playoff game and you create a sign that says Jamal Murray has a fragile soul, take a picture and send it to us, dadsanddunks@gmail.com. You will get some free Dads and Dunks merch. We don't even have it, but we will send it to you because that would be
I
awesome.
will order it,
Jamal
and
Murray
you will
has a
get it.
fragile soul.
And I think that the coaching change has been helpful for him too.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
It is interesting. Everyone said Mike Malone is like such an awesome coach, and I'm not saying he isn't, but it doesn't feel like that has been like a drop off as far as like Denver being a competitive team. They seem to still be well coached, and maybe that's just because Jokic is a cheat code. I don't know.
Dan Malone was throwing shade at the Wolves. I don't even remember what he was saying, but he was on national TV and he was just being a dick
Yeah.
about something about the Wolves, and so I don't like him now.
I was a college coach, loser.
um, Sweet. All right, what else we got?
All right, so we've talked a lot about the Wolves. We will finish up talking about the playoffs at large, but we wanted to get some predictions in. Everybody does predictions. So if you look at Vegas, what am I looking at? DraftKings. Right now the Nuggets are minus 350, which is pretty heavy betting favorites. That means they're giving the Nuggets a 78% chance of winning the series. Tom, what's your prediction? How's it going to happen?
It feels really high. I also, I suppose if I had to take my hat off literally and be neutral in this, I do think Denver, when healthy, poses a serious challenge to the Wolves being able to win the series, and I would probably take them to win it. But
What?
I am going Wolves in 7 and steal one because I have to have them winning in my. I can't watch them and like think that they're gonna lose. It's like, oh, we're just gonna lose this series. That would make the series terrible. So I have to say that the Wolves will win in 7, and they can, but 22% chance to win it feels low when we have a healthy team. Our record's not that much worse. I mean, the end of the season has been rough for us, so
Mhm.
I don't know. That feels like we should have better odds than that, but maybe it's just me being a homer.
I'm curious. I didn't look. I wonder what the odds were when we played the Lakers last year. Because same thing, we were the 6th seed. Lakers were the 3. I wonder if I remember the Lakers being favored. I wonder if it was at that level. I agree with you. I mean, Denver had 54 wins. Again, they won 12 in a row to end the season. We had 49. We finished 5-5, and we were resting guys. A lot of teams were. Um, I was gonna pick the Wolves in 6. Here's my plan. So we lose game 1. We're gonna come back. We're gonna win game 2 on the road. And then game 3, it's going to be a battle. But guess what? Kevin Garnett is going to be in the crowd, and they're going to show him like in the 3rd quarter, in the 4th quarter, and like everyone's just going to go crazy. And Ant is going to have a crazy 4th quarter. We're going to win all of our home games. We're going to beat him in 6. So that's my prediction. This is not financial advice. Please do not like bet your mortgage on the Wolves. I don't know. I mean, also like this implies that Ant and Jaden are pretty healthy, that the team is like in a good spot. Um, but yeah, I want to really like, root for my team. I think Denver's really strong. I think there's an opportunity for like Ant to do the thing that he loves, which is like be competitive, be the underdog, and like take somebody out. I think if he could beat the best player on planet Earth in the first round after he had his maybe most tumultuous season with injuries and whatnot, I think that'd be an awesome story. And I think he really cares about that stuff. So Wolves in 6,
And
baby.
we have and we have one in Denver. I don't think that it's anything new for them to feel confident going in to win in Denver.
Well,
Again,
yeah,
different teams. They weren't healthy this year. We weren't healthy this year. We did win in. So take that with a grain of salt, but I don't think that they're afraid of going in and taking one from Denver. I feel like they're very confident that they can do that.
and I know people are talking, oh, these are like different teams. A lot of the players, the coaches are different. Like, that's true. And to me, like the main cast of characters is still Jokic, Ant, Jamal Murray, Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Nas Reed, Aaron Gordon. Like those guys have been here for all of that. To me, like those are the main guys. And to your point, yeah, we had the biggest Game 7 comeback in playoff history against Denver, a couple years ago. So like you've done the thing that nobody's ever done. I would feel pretty confident, like no matter the score, like we can do this. And I feel like the Wolves do have a bit of that arrogance, and it burns them when they don't take bad teams seriously. But I think it's also a way like they're never out of the game. They're not scared of who they're playing. So yeah, I think the Wolves win the series. Shock the world, baby.
And it felt they play well on the road in the playoffs. I don't have the stats, but just the last couple of years, just
Yeah.
the eye test thinking going into LA and that win when Ant was walking around afterwards,
He played
after the
great in
win.
LA.
They
That's a
can
good
five.
point.
Yeah. So I don't think that I think that they get some energy from playing on the road too,
I love that.
strangely enough.
All right, so we both got the Wolves winning. I've got them in 6. You got them in 7. We'll put a little poll on Twitter. If anybody has predictions, let us know. And we can do a post-mortem on the series, and we'll give you a shout out if you're right. But if you pick the Nuggets and you're right, we're probably not going to talk about you because we don't want any of that. Um, okay, so looking at the
Um,
playoffs,
unless you actually know what you're talking about, and then why don't you just you can
maybe
hop on and
I
we'll
don't
have a
know.
little chat maybe.
We'll think about
No,
it.
not no. We're just anti Nuggets now that the
Think
playoffs are
about
in.
it,
Before the playoffs, we could talk to Nuggets
but not
fans
anymore.
or Nuggets people covering the Nuggets, but now it's yeah okay.
No,
After we beat them, we can have them on to talk about why we beat them. Does that work?
that's fair.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
So, all right. Do you want to zoom out and talk just playoffs in general? Because the playoffs are so fun and they're just going to be on my TV nonstop.
Yes. Okay. So first thing is the play-in games this week. Do you have any predictions on who's going to make it out of the play-in in the West and the East? So in the East, it is. Oh, I know who you're picking already. It's the Philadelphia 76ers, the Orlando Magic, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Miami Heat. In the West, we've got the Suns, the Blazers, the Clippers, and the Warriors. Who are your two teams coming out of the East, Tom?
Oh, that's a good question. Give me a second.
I'll tell mine then. I think it's
Okay.
the 76ers. I think that they've got a pretty strong team. Those guards are good. If Embiid is somewhat well, oh, he got it. Did he have like an like appendicitis or an appendectomy or something? Like maybe he's out. whatever. They don't need him. I'm going with Philadelphia and Charlotte Hornets to make it out of the East. The play-in, just the play-in.
Well, I have to pick the 76ers because they're my favorite.
Their team.
And then you have the Hornets and the Heat. The Heat are bad, and the Hornets have been hot, and they're super fun to watch. So I guess my preference, man, the Magic were supposed to be really good this year too, and they just
Yeah.
haven't been.
No.
And they, I think the 76ers have shown they can win without Embiid. Yeah, I would like to see the Hornets playing the Pistons too. I think the Hornets are just a fun team, and I think that it would be a really cool story to see them just because they make a run and just like take the Pistons like to a game 7 or something. I just want the
No, that's
storylines,
not going
and
to
I
happen.
think that the Hornet. I think, I don't think it will happen. But the storylines are what make the playoffs
You
fun.
can dream.
So
Tom can dream.
one can dream. I mean, you never know. It's the playoffs. You never know.
All right. So then in the West, we've got, again, the Suns, Trailblazers, Clippers, Warriors. Who makes it out?
Um, I think the Suns make it out, and then I think the Clippers, like the Warriors, are really bad. So we've got Clippers and Suns.
I was
You?
thinking the Suns for sure, and then I was going to pick the Clippers just because Kawhi has been so hot to end the season. I think, although Steph Curry is great, I think Kawhi is maybe playing at a higher level right now. The Trailblazers are an interesting team. They're kind of fun. They just don't have anybody. No offense to what's his name, Denny Abdia, and Scoot Henderson and Tumani Kamara. Like again, or Donovan Clingan. They're fun to watch. I just think that Kawhi Leonard's really good.
Yeah, and Kawhi, how has the Kawhi resurgence this year happened? I was down on Kawhi, like you're old, you don't seem like you're all that athletic anymore, but you just are playing so smart and playing so well.
Also, didn't he like get a
I
fake
was not
endorsement from
expecting it.
Aspiration? Like, what is anything going to happen with that? Like, that's just okay. Like the Joe Smith thing is not okay, but this is okay. I guess they're a
Once
little
we get to the
different,
end of
but
the season, they'll figure something out. But
cool.
they're gonna let it ride for now.
All right. So then, if we look at the playoffs, so do you want to talk about the West or the East first?
um, let's go East and finish with West since we're in the West, and we'll wrap
All
it
right.
with the more Western Conference chat.
So we've got Pistons, Hornets.
I mean, Pistons, obviously.
Pistons. But you were like dreaming about the Hornets. I wasn't sure.
I want them to make I want them to make the series fun. I don't want to have a 4 game or even a gentleman's sweep.
Sure.
Nobody wants that. Make
Okay.
it fun.
Pistons. So then Celtics, 76ers.
Celtics.
Okay. Then we'll go 3-6, Knicks, Hawks.
Knicks.
Dude, I so want to pick the Hawks because of Nikhil, but yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not
just
I'm agreeing with you on all of these. I also think it's Pistons, it's Celtics, it's
and
Knicks.
well, you're rooting for Nikhil and not for Cat. What?
Dude, I'm definitely team Nikhil over team Cat. Our Cat's better. I mean, whatever. Cat's great, but like the Nikhil story is fun. I don't know.
I agree.
The Hawks are kind of fun now. They don't have Trey. Okay, and then Cavs, Raptors, 4-5.
I I the Cavs. I'm so conflicted because I just don't like James Harden, but I don't know.
You
I
like
think
Donovan
that they're
Mitchell though,
gonna
don't you?
win. I love Donovan Mitchell. That's why I'm so
That's what I thought.
conflicted. Donovan Mitchell's like one of my favorite players to watch, and so that was not ideal to see that trade happen. So I'm picking the Cavaliers to win, even though I don't necessarily want them to win anymore.
I'm in the same. Okay, so then do you want to do second round East or do you want to go do first round West?
Let's do first round West.
Okay, so that means we've got Thunder, Clippers.
I mean, the Thunder, I think we now are coming away with that.
Okay. Then we've got Spurs, Suns. What BS is Devin Booker going to pull?
And the Spurs are obviously going to win.
Spurs.
Yeah.
Okay, then we both picked Wolves to beat Nuggets.
Yeah.
Go
Is
Wolves.
that our first upset? Is that the first upset that we've
Yeah.
picked in this
We're
entire?
chalk other than like the team that we root for. Okay, but this is definitely going to be an upset for you. Lakers, Rockets.
Yeah, Rockets for sure.
I mean, You have to pick Rockets because is Reeves or Doncic gonna even play? Isn't it like kind of up
Yeah,
in
it
the air?
doesn't.
Isn't Luka in like
It sounds
Europe
like
getting
not.
some like experimental treatment that's not allowed in the United States?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's an upset, but
Yeah, it's not really.
not really. I would have picked the Rockets anyway, even with the healthy Lakers. But I think most people would pick the Rockets over the Lakers at this point. And with the Wolves had gotten the Lakers, that would have been the Wolves would have been picked too.
So they don't have the like lines for the games that require playing teams, but Cavs are -7.5 against the Raptors, which is the biggest. We're the next biggest. Denver is -6.5 against us. Houston is -5.5 against Lakers. So they're assuming those guys aren't playing either. Okay. Okay. Second round. That means we've got Pistons, Cavs.
Pistons.
Yeah, me too. How about
Because is Cade healthy now? Like, is his lung
he played?
reinflated?
He played the last game, at least I know.
Yeah.
Is his lung
Yeah. I just
reinflated?
like
Is that
don't
what you
know. I don't
said?
know what the recovery is like. It's like once your lung is like no longer like a deflated balloon, is it just like you're cool again? Like
I
I
don't
get
know. Gotta ask ChatGPT or a
pump that
doctor in your life.
thing up and you're good to go.
I, I don't know. It sounds terrible. Okay, Celtics Knicks rematch of was that the second round playoffs last year? Yeah, because the Knicks and Pacers were the East Finals.
Yeah, and
I'm going
I
Celtics.
want the I want the Celtics to win that one too for Tatum coming back. The way that the Celtics hung on all season when it was supposed to be a season where they just offloaded they salary dumped everybody
Yeah,
to get under the apron, and it was supposed to be this rebuilding year where they could be a tankathon team so that they could get a better player for when Tatum comes back next year, and then he comes back sooner. And I think that storyline is cool.
it is cool.
So I'm rooting for that.
I'm not really a big Celtics fan. Bill Simmons is like just too much about the Celtics. He's kind of soured me, but I really like Jaylen Brown. I like Derek White. I like a lot of the way I like the way they play. Yeah. So okay, we got Celtics Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, but before that, we got the second round in the West. So we've got Thunder Rockets.
Well, the Thunder are taking care of the Rockets pretty quick.
Okay. Then we've got Spurs Wolves. What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm picking the Wolves because I can't not pick the Wolves. I think so. I'm picking the Wolves to beat the Spurs. Julius is going to step up and play Wemby like he did in the regular season. Get
Yeah.
under him, pester him. They're going to be physical. The Spurs haven't been there before. The Wolves have been to the playoffs, like 5 Western Conference Finals twice. More experience.
Yeah.
Wolves are taking it.
I agree with you. I think if the Wolves do beat the Nuggets, I think the Spurs are a better matchup than the Nuggets for us. So I do feel like we could beat the Spurs in the playoffs. I totally agree with you. I feel like every time there's a young team who kind of like makes the playoffs, they always kind of lose before you think the first time. Like I think about the Thunder a couple years ago when they lost to the Mavericks, when we ended up losing the Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. Um, I just think that's kind of like the progression. You've got to like take your lumps.
If the Vegas odds are correct and we lose in the first round, which we won't, the Timberwolves, then I would take the Nuggets over the Spurs too.
I would too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
absolutely take the Nuggets over the Spurs. I will say this is like a gauntlet of a playoff path for the Wolves. Like if we do go on some type of run, that means you're probably beating the Nuggets, the Spurs, the Thunder, and whoever comes out of the East. Like I don't know. That's just like an insane group of teams you have to run through. Those are probably the four
That's
best
a
teams in the
gauntlet.
league.
Yeah, that's a gauntlet for sure. That was a tough draw.
Okay, so we've got Pistons Celtics. I would pick the Celtics.
I Yeah, because the Pistons haven't really been deep in the playoffs either, right?
They
I
lost in
mean,
the first
the
round last year to the
Celtics.
Knicks. And that was their
Yeah, the
first
Celtics have
time
done it too.
with this group. And yeah, to your point, the Celtics have won it. They've been to the playoffs a ton. I also just think like having Tatum back, I think they're just probably better. They're probably better than the Pistons. I don't know. Cade Cunningham is great.
Well, they didn't have him all year, and they only won 4 fewer games.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. And they start off the season to your point, like, oh, should we tank? Like, are we gonna try? Yeah, and they ended up being the 2 seed. Okay. So we've got the Celtics, then we've got Thunder, Wolves in the West.
I mean, I think yeah, I have to do I have to keep this going? This bit here.
You can do
I
whatever
think
you want.
I think the Thunder would beat the Wolves, but I have to pick them. I have to pick the
So who are
Wolves
you
to win.
taking?
I have to pick the Wolves otherwise it would be defeatist. I have to put positive energy into the world. But if we're actually, I mean, if I were to be betting, I would bet on the Thunder. But for this segment, with my positive energy, I'm taking the
So as
Wolves.
soon as you turn this podcast off, you think the Thunder are going to win, but because we're on this podcast, you think the Wolves are going to win.
No, no, dude. Damn it, Josh.
Honestly, I think we
Um,
can beat the Thunder.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
know that's
mean,
like crazy because the Thunder are great. I feel like Ant figuring out the clutch time stuff. I think Ant kind of hates Shea. I think our team kind of hates the Thunder. I feel like we've kind of figured out how to play some different guys against them. My biggest concern is Julius. I don't really know if he's a plus matchup. I think he's kind of got to play less or he's got to play a different way. And I just don't know if he'll do that. But I love having Io and DDV and Jaden and Ant and Nas. I think like that's a really good group. I think Kyle Anderson helps against them a lot. You're smiling. I do think that we could beat the Thunder. I probably
I want to, and I think we could. I just don't think it's as like because they look at so the Celtics and the Pistons. You're talking about a matchup there. I'm like, yeah, the Celtics are not as they're a lower seed, and but they've won 4 fewer games than the Pistons, and then the Timberwolves have won 15 fewer games than the Thunder. So they just have been so
yeah.
historically good, and I hate the Thunder, and I do not like Shea, and so every fiber of my being wants to say that we could knock them off, and we could. It's not wouldn't be a 0% chance. I just don't. If I were, I'm just saying, if I were actually like doing the Vegas odds, I would obviously pick the Thunder, but I do think the Wolves could do it. The Wolves could do it.
Are you picking the Wolves?
I have all faith in Anthony Edwards. I'm picking the Wolves.
Okay, that means in our Dads and Dunks NBA Finals, we have the Celtics and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh, who does Kevin Garnett root for?
Oh, that's a good question. He roots for the Wolves.
You think so?
Yeah.
He won a championship
I
with
mean,
Boston. His number is retired in the rafters. The rafters. Sorry, not the rafters of their arena. Although he is under contract with us to like create content and like be an ambassador. So
you think he does like the Travis Kelsey's mom
like
thing
the
with like the
half.
half and half jersey?
God, I hope not. Those are so interesting. I mean,
No,
I'm
it's
like, dude, you're with
terrible.
us longer. We drafted you. We're paying you. You got to root for us. But I kind of feel like he would just like not be involved.
No, he's rooting for the Timberwolves. He's all in.
Okay.
I'm calling it.
If we play the Celtics and we're in the finals, we definitely got to say that the Wolves are beating the Celtics, right?
Yeah, they're taking it all the way.
All right.
Dads and dunks. This is it. This is
5
the
games,
final bracket.
baby. 5 games. The Wolves win the NBA championship. You heard it here first. So we're gonna beat the Nuggets, the Spurs, the Thunder, and the Celtics to win our first championship ever.
That would be epic.
That happens. We
Oh,
got to go like put money on 8 in roulette or something. Just like pick a number.
yeah,
It would be
that would be
cool. I mean,
cool.
that would be Ant's ascension to like, oh my God, you're like the superstar. You're the face of the NBA. You just like knocked everybody out who's at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, that would be really awesome. And on the flip side, if that doesn't happen, there'll be some significant reshuffling of this team, and we can talk about that later. but but that would be really cool. So I'm glad we got there. We're on the same page. Wolves are winning it all. Let's go.
You heard it here first. All right. How are we wrapping this up, Tom?
All right, let's just get to the end of it here. So, as always, you can head to the website, so dadsanddunks.com. If you have something you want to promote, email us directly at dadsanddunks@gmail.com. If you like the show, follow, rate, like, subscribe, and tell a friend.
Oh, that's my job. We post new content for community conversations on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube all week.
This is Dads and Dunks. Go Wolves!
Go Wolves. NBA champs, baby.